Hello, everybody. Apparently, Ava felt like I needed help there.
How about, yeah, Wicca's not here, so let's get Schomer taken care of and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. I am ready when you are. I have a video pulled up ready to do a screen share too when we go. So
this is case number 25, RO07235. It is People of the City of Royal Oak versus Christine Joe Schomer. That's you, miss?
Correct.
You're Christine Joe Schomer?
Yes.
Okay, you'll have to hold your voice up for making a record. Ms. Schomer, you were present earlier this afternoon when the court explained the nature of an informal hearing. True?
True.
And so you also understood the court to instruct that you must select from one of three options to protect your rights, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Ms. Schomer, the citation before the court was issued on November 14th of this year at about 3:30 in the afternoon. You were operating a 2023 Jeep Wagoneer, black in color on Linwood, south of 12 Mile Road in the city of Royal Oak. And at that place and time, you were cited for careless driving. Officer Cherry's remarks, which appear on your citation, indicate defendant in school parking lot and exit lane. Defendant suddenly veered right, crossing double yellow lines and running over several traffic cones. That's the allegation. That is not evidence before the court at this point. You do have your three options today to protect your rights. You may admit responsibility in this matter. You can admit and explain, or you can deny responsibility. We'll swear the parties and conduct your trial forthwith. What would you like the court to do for you?
Deny responsibility.
Very well. Would you both please raise your right hands? You solemnly swear the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth.
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you very much. The officer has the burden. Ms. Schomer, then it's your turn. Officer Cherry.
Thank you, Magistrate. As you previously mentioned, on November 14th, about 3:27, I was parked in my patrol vehicle, which is the gray unmarked vehicle. I was parked on northbound Linwood, just south of the exit for the parking lot of Shrine Elementary School. I was there for a separate matter, looking for a hit and run suspect. While I was sitting there, I have the wonderful joy of also watching the, at times, chaotic traffic. To give you a backstory there, traffic generally enters off of 12 Mile into the lot. They either go through a pickup lane or they go into the parking lot, circle around and come on out onto Linwood. There are two, it is one exit on the Linwood, but it is broken into two directions. There is a painted double yellow line and there are cones there so that vehicles in the right lane are directed to go south on Linwood. Vehicles in the left lane are directed to go north on Linwood. While I was sitting there in my patrol vehicle, I observed a black Jeep Wagoneer that was waiting essentially in the left lane, in the left line. It had been in the parking lot, not in the drive-through lane. The vehicle suddenly accelerated, driving right over the double lines and a bunch of cones, getting several cones stuck under the vehicle. The vehicle pulled forward a few more feet and then stopped prior to exiting onto Linwood, where the driver, Ms. Schomer, exited her vehicle and then proceeded to try to get the cones on under there. I made contact with her and she told me that she sees people do it all the time. I pointed out that she was at risk driving that way for striking a kid that's not paying attention, and she told me she would never hit a kid. I also have my dash cam video pulled up. With your permission, I would like to admit that as evidence. I will do a screen share and we can watch the video ourselves.
Thank you.
Give me a moment. I've only done this once before.
No, we've got time. That's why we're here 5 days a week.
Let's see. There we go. Also share audio. Share.
All right, you're live.
Okay, are you able to see that?
We got that. Looks like Linwood looking north.
Okay. I will stop it there unless the court requires further video, but that is the entirety of the incident.
Okay.
That is the entirety of the incident.
Thank you. Unless there's anything further, Officer Cherry, you have the right to rebuttal after Ms. Schomer's testimony. Ms. Schomer.
Yes. Okay, so I was leaving, and as he stated, there's the lane that goes right onto Linwood. I do want to make a correction. I was still in the school parking lot. Somewhere it said that he pulled me over when I was on Linwood, which I was not. I was still in the private parking lot, so I just want to make that clear. So I was in the left lane going to turn left, and I noticed that traffic had cleared on the right. So just to help with the flow of traffic, I went into that right lane. Now that double lane is for the drop-off lane. So that doesn't mean you can't cross over that double lane. It means that in the morning, that's the drop-off lane. So everybody in the parking lot has to go over that double lane in order to exit to go right. So I'm lawfully allowed to do that. So I saw that the traffic had cleared on the right. And I looked for cars, I looked for pedestrians, and there was none. Now the traffic cones are obviously manually placed. And so I thought that I saw the last cone because the cone that I ran over, the two cones I ran over, weren't spaced appropriately to the other cone. So I had made the human error of thinking that that was the last cone that I saw when the other two cones were spaced out differently. And so that's what caused me to run over those cones. Those cones are 18 inches tall. They don't pick up on cameras, but again, I am a careful driver as evidenced by my 30-year clean driving record. I did look for other cars. I did look for pedestrians. I did look for children. There was nobody in that lane. And it was a human error that I ran over that cone based on how it was spaced out.
Thank you. And what, if anything else, do you wish the court to know?
Additionally, I want the court to know that I worked 10 years as an ICU nurse, and I've worked 13 years as a neurosurgery nurse practitioner, and I've taken care of countless people that have gotten hit by cars, and I would never be careless with my vehicle in that way. I assure the court of that.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Officer Cherry, what, if anything else, you want
Magistrate,
to share
just-
by way of rebuttal?
Yes, Magistrate, just to rebut, as you could clearly see on the video, those cones showed up very clearly on my video. They were evenly spaced. They are placed there for a reason by school staff. Double yellow line, again, in and of itself indicates a do not cross type of lineage. And having cones very directly placed there, my concern again is, I understand that Ms. Schomer said that she would never intentionally hit another person. I completely have no reason to disregard that. However, that being said, she also testified that she didn't see the one cone. What if that was a toddler? What if that was another child? Those cones were there for a reason. Those Those lanes were designated for a reason to safely direct traffic in two ways. And as she testified, she attempted to go through that way that was very clearly coned. And as my dash camera clearly picked up all three cones, they're quite sizable. They were very, very easily visible, even from my long distance
The
away.
cones are 18 inches, which
Ms.
is
Ms. Schomer, we're not at a debate society. You were able to make your case. Officer is providing rebuttal pursuant to the Michigan Rules of Evidence and the court rules. So we're not here to simply play tit for tat. It is an informal hearing, but that doesn't mean we jump in whenever we wish. Officer, please continue.
Magistrate, I have no further to add.
Thank you very much. The court has heard the testimony of both parties in the People versus Christine Joe Schomer. The court first wishes to indicate that since both parties are professional, they should and do understand that when the court makes its ruling, it's not inviting to debate, but will simply make its ruling, and that will be the end of the case, at least as of today. So the party does strike that. The court does believe that both parties within their own perception of events, distances, objects, etc., appear to believe that they are proceeding in good faith. However, the burden of proof in a civil matter is a mere preponderance of the evidence. The court is confused by a few features up to and including it appeared as though there was testimony that the double line and the cones are really only for the morning drop off, and in the afternoon pickup, they're no longer needed or available or relevant. The court would wonder why they're still out there in the afternoon if that's the case. Also, the court understands that Ms. Schomer indicates she didn't see anybody, so it was okay. But seeing or not seeing a potential object or a person or even a police vehicle should not be the determining and governing factor of whether or not we are obeying the traffic signs and signals and lane markers. And for that reason, and due to the fact that the burden of proof is what it is, the court does find you responsible, Ms. Schomer. The fine for careless driving is $240. That is payable through the pay portal on the 44th District Court website, or you can walk a cash check or charge into this court at 400 East 11 Mile Road, Monday through Friday between 8:30 and 4:30. That's due within 7 days. If you do wish to appeal this court's ruling, you have every right to do so by posting a $240 cash bond within 7 days. The matter gets placed on the formal hearing docket. And at that juncture, the city of Royal Oak, one of two cities within this court's jurisdiction, would be represented by a city prosecutor, and that would reopen the matter up to any motion practice. So with that said, $240 is a fine or a bond within 7. That closes your case. Please always be careful.
Yeah, thank you.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.